121. Room 1221.
Hello and welcome to Room 1221 Live, the show where we talk about our health, our bodies, and our choices when it comes to our sexual health. Today, we're asking a very important question. How can you really practice safe sex? As usual, we are going to be breaking down the facts, debunking myths, and giving you all the information you need to have sex and have it confidently. Joining me are two important voices in the sexual reproductive health space. I've got Dr. Noel and Auntie Lydia. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right. Could you please introduce yourselves and tell us a little more about yourselves, Dr. Noel?
Okay, sure. So I go by the name Noel Senior Kumadi. Yes, many things, but for today's sake, I'm a medical doctor.
Okay.
Yes, I work at Ridge Hospital. Yes.
Nice.
Aside being a medical doctor, I'm a content creator, I'm an actor, I'm a model, as well as a sneaker plug. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think basically that's all about me.
Dr. Noel is a very busy man.
I am.
Auntie Lydia, welcome again.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourselves to us.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm Portia Kofa Akumi. I'm a brand consumer advisor. But then I'm also known as Auntie Lydia on all the Lydia contraceptive pages on social media. So I host a program, a youth-friendly program. We talk about sexual and reproductive health, and then we bust the myths and misconceptions on contraceptives. So basically, that's what I'm doing for now.
Okay, that's great. Thank you both for joining us. Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a very fun, very interesting conversation.
Definitely.
So yes, let's jump right into it. Dr. Noel,
Yeah.
could you please tell us what safe sex is?
Okay, so safe sex basically means engaging in sexual activity with the sole aim of preventing sexually transmitted diseases or unwanted pregnancies through various methods and contraception. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's basically it.
Okay. You mentioned unwanted pregnancies.
Yes.
So what about happy surprises? You know, in the case where a couple is having sex, they are not ready, but you know, they get pregnant and they are very happy about it. What was that?
Okay, I get the joy they have, but then personally, I believe in planned pregnancies. Yes, family planning is very important. So I think you should always plan your pregnancies and you'll be fine.
Yes, doc.
Yes.
You heard the doctor. Plan your pregnancies. Now, Auntie Lydia, could you please educate us on what we can do to have safe sex? You know, we talk about condoms and contraception, but then there's also the aspect of mutual respect
Right.
between the partners and then the communication and things like that.
Okay, so basically what he said, practicing safe sex is preventing or protecting yourself from sexually transmitted infections and then unintended pregnancies. Okay, so we know that condom is the only contraceptive method that gives you dual protection against pregnancy and then sexually transmitted infections. But then if you want to do away with condoms, which I don't 100% agree on, but it's your choice. If you want to do away with condoms, then it comes to communication with your partner. So you would have to have an honest communication with your partner. Honest communication with your partner. And you both agree that you'd both practice mutual monogamy. So you would agree that I'm going to be exclusive with you. So I'm going to be having sex with you alone. And if both of you agree, then you can go for STI checks, periodic STI checks, to make sure you are both safe from any sexually transmitted infections. If you have, you treat it before you start having sex. So once you are done with that, you could both agree on which contraceptive method is ideal for you. I believe that the woman should have a voice in this. I mean, her voice should be higher than the man. though it's a mutual agreement, because it's your body. You would know the best contraceptive option to go in for. I mean, that is when Auntie Lydia comes in. You can always reach us on our social media platforms who would help you. And also, most importantly, as women, before you start having sex, you should know your menstrual cycle. Because I've come into
Very
contact with a lot
important.
of women. If you ask them, what's the length of your menstrual cycle? Oh, my period is 4 days, is 3 days. That is not your menstrual cycle. That's
Yeah.
actually the length of your period. So once you know your menstrual cycle, and I think that also helps you to agree on which method to use. So, and also depending on where you are now, if you're a student, maybe after school 4 years, you'd have 1 year national service. After
Yeah.
national service, you get a good job before you start thinking of having babies, or you get married and start thinking of having babies. You can go in for a long-term contraceptive method.
Yeah.
You know, I'm anti-Lydia, so I'm going to be talking about Lydia brands. So you
Please
can
do.
think of
Please feel
the
free.
Lydia Safe Load IUDs. And if you want a short-term method, maybe for just a short period, you can go for the short-term methods like the Lydia Daily Oral Pills.
Yes.
You can also reach us, and then we would help you with the 3-month injections, including that in there. So it's just basically a conversation, and it should be a mutual understanding. Yeah, so basically that's it for now. What you should be thinking.
Thank you,
about.
Auntie Lydia. Auntie Lydia says, thank you, Auntie Lydia. Now, Dr. Noel, I know that there are some misconceptions even around the having safe sex, contraception, and condom part. But one that I've heard a lot is the fact that people say that if you are not having sex frequently, then you and safe sex are not, nothing concern you for that side. You shouldn't think about it. What would you say to that?
Oh, I think it's general knowledge. It's a knowledge that everyone needs to get. You get it. Yes, despite the fact that you're not having sex frequently, it doesn't mean you shouldn't have at least the idea of what safe sex is, or even have that at the back of your mind.
Yeah.
Yes, because I mean you're not having sex so frequently, but the one time you go and have sex, then you contract a disease. What are you gonna say?
Yeah,
You get it? Yeah.
that'll
So
be
I
crazy.
think safe sex is not just for people who are sexually active, but even if you are less sexually active, you should also have an idea of what safe sex is and also practice it.
Yes. Thank you. Auntie Lydia, please, you have anything to add?
Okay, he has basically said everything. So it's important to let me use myself for an example. Based on the kind of African, family you come from, sometimes you are being told, don't have sex, don't do this, don't do that. But then once you are well informed, when it gets to the point where it happens, sometimes you don't plan, and then it happens, you are able to know that, okay, if you have unplanned sex, you have an emergency contraception to go to. If you are having sex with someone you do not know, you use a condom, so it prevents you from getting. So I think, like he said, it's very important whether you're having sex or not. You should have an idea of what safe sex is. It helps a lot.
Thank you, Auntie Lydia. Now, speaking on condoms and contraceptions, there are some plenty things around that topic. Let's start with Dr. Noel.
Yeah.
There are things like internal and external condoms, and then I've also heard people talking about, oh, I don't like condoms because I have a latex allergy, or I don't like condoms because this. What would you say to first the internal and external condoms pair? What are the differences? What are they? What's ideal for who? And then for the people with the latex allergies, what advice would you have for them in terms of how can they also have safe sex and enjoy it?
Okay, so I'll start with the internal and external condoms.
Yes.
Yeah, so for the internal condoms, those are what we call the male condoms. And the external condoms are the male condoms, and the
Yes.
internal condoms are the female condoms. Yes. Most people, I mean, both genders will go for the external condoms. I don't know why females don't like wearing their condoms. I don't know why. Yeah, I think they say you don't really feel the friction and all, so they don't really feel it. But I mean, it's still good. Yes. So the internal condoms are less used in Ghana.
Yes.
Yes, I think there was a research, and I think less than 2% of the female population don't actually
Yeah.
use the internal condoms.
Yes.
Yes, and for the latex reaction, it's legit. Well, okay, so which is laughing.
I know.
So you heard stories saying.
Oh, well, most men, some men will complain of latex allergies. Some will say they feel some rash and all. Some genuinely too don't have though, they just don't want to use the condoms. Yes, but it's actually real. Latex allergies are real. But however, we have latex-free condoms that are available, but not really in Ghana. Yes, that's the issue.
That's our
Yes,
issue.
it's not really in Ghana. But if you have a latex allergy, I think then the best bet is to go for the female condoms. Yeah, those ones don't really contain latex. Yes, but we have some latex-free condoms, the polyisopropyl condoms as well as the polyurethane condoms, but they are hardly in Ghana. They
Okay.
are hardly in Ghana.
Okay.
Yes.
Noted. All right. So yes, if you have a latex allergy and you're a girl, then good for you. You can, opt for a female condom. If you're a guy, have your partner opt for female condoms, and you'll be fine. Okay. So, Auntie Lydia, talking about safe sex and contraception, I'll have to buy the condom. I'll have to buy the contraceptive, and so many of us know it's not very easy to walk into a pharmacy or anywhere in Ghana to say you're buying a condom or you're buying Lydia. The way they even look at you. How would you advise that we navigate the stigma around buying and carrying contraception?
Okay, so this has been something that has been going on for years. And I believe now, with the Gen Z buddies and all that, they don't really care about what you
They
think
don't
when they
care.
enter into a pharmacy and you are giving them money. But maybe someone like me growing up, it would be quite difficult. However, I know what I'm trying to prevent. So I would rather pretend as if I'm not seeing how you're looking at me. Now just buy what I want to do. However, I would advise, I hope people working in the pharmacies, chemical shops, or whatever are watching. I think it's best that we try to be more accommodating. You don't have to be rude or speak down on them. It's better to prevent unintended pregnancies or unwanted pregnancies than the person getting pregnant and then finding it difficult to even go to a safe abortion facility for safe abortion and goes to take a concussion that may lead to death or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think we should just allow them to buy the condoms. You're even lucky the person is even coming in to buy condoms or contraception.
Right?
Yeah.
So just allow them. At the back of your mind, you can judge them, which is wrong if you want, but then don't make it obvious for them to feel some type of way. And for whoever is going to buy the condom or contraceptive or whatever you want to go and buy, just ignore them. Try as much as possible to ignore them. Be bold and go in for it. Or you can't speak to someone you trust who would go in and then get it for you.
I
If you can
agree.
buy it in bulk, it would also help. You can buy it in bulk if you are using condoms or maybe a regular contraceptive method. You can buy it in bulk and then use it. However, I think the best thing to do is just ignore the looks, the judgment and whatever, because in the end you are the one going to experience whatever
Yes.
comes, the consequences that comes, afterwards. So basically that's it.
Yes. Thank you, Auntie Lydia. And also, the person who is giving you the funny looks by now, he's doing worse than you.
Worse.
So just be safe and protect yourself. That's what matters. Now, to both of you, Dr.
Yeah.
Noel and Auntie Lydia, there are some myths, around condom use. People say that it reduces their pleasure. People say that they don't feel it. People say that, it's not the same. For me, I know that's a myth, and I don't say I feel like it's tired, but for the people who are still, keeping it up and still perpetuating that misconception, what do you have to say to them?
Well, to a certain extent, condom reduces the sensitivity of the glands. Yes, but we have very, very thin condoms in the market. That basically mimic the same feeling. You get it? So you
Yes.
don't have any difference with pleasure when you're using these ultra thin condoms. I think Fiesta has some
Yes,
really
yes,
nice.
extra thin.
Yes,
Extra
the
thin.
extra thin condoms. And it works perfectly. It works
Does.
perfectly. So I think it's just a misconception to allow boys or men to go raw. But actually, it's not good.
And some women also do not believe in the use of condoms. They also
Yeah,
say the same
That's
thing.
very true.
But then, like you are saying, for me, I believe it's the mind. When it
Okay.
comes to sex, it comes with the mind. Unless you tell me when you use condom, you don't ejaculate, which I don't think is true. And I believe that using a condom even helps you as a man because, you know, women, it takes time for us
Right.
to get there. So when you use a condom and it even delays, you are helping, you know, the woman.
Yeah.
So in a way,
Yeah.
it makes sex enjoyable for both of you. You
Okay.
may get to your destination together, and that's even more fun. So I think sometimes it comes from the mind, and like you said, it's true. It's for some people it reduces the enjoyment and all that. But Fiesta Extra thing gives you a skin to skin feel, and then it makes it more pleasurable. So you can't use that. And for those who are telling lies, just be honest. Like I said, it comes with honesty. Now we live in an open-minded world. Everybody is accommodating with. In the past, you can't even talk about this openly.
Yes,
You would be
true.
judged. I'm sure they'll probably even flag what we are saying, and then it wouldn't. But now we can openly talk
boys.
about sex. So you just speak to your partner. Oh, I don't enjoy using condoms. And that's when it comes to mutual monogamy. So
Okay.
both of you know that I'm doing it with only you.
Exactly, yeah.
So once you enjoy yourselves, and then 3 months you go for
When
your
check.
checks, your STI checks, and then you are good to go.
Okay. Okay. Thank you both. You mentioned speaking to our partners about protection and things like that. I feel like sometimes the mentioning it can be a little, can shift the vibe kakra.
Yeah.
So how would you advise that we bring it up? Say, oh babe, let's use a condom, or babe, let's try this. How would you advise that we bring it up without ruining the mood?
Okay, so coming from me, believe it or not, I'm very shy. And then when it comes to sex, it has been very difficult for me to talk about sex. Maybe because of the environment that I find myself in now, it's very easy for me to talk about sex. So just imagine me talking to my partner about sex. It was very uncomfortable. I remember when I started dating, my husband now, when I started dating, and he was talking to me about sex, it was so uncomfortable. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. So I was so uncomfortable. I just didn't want to listen. And he was like, this is something you should talk about.
All right.
So just let me know if, you'd want to do it. And I said, okay, I'm not ready. But then once I was ready, that conversation really helped. So you can just make it fun for each other. Or you can, and don't make it too serious, but then you can just make it fun. You'll be like, okay, so maybe when you start talking, so what do you think about sex? Oh, okay, I'd like to wait a bit. Or, oh, okay, I'm a freak. I like to do this. I like to do that. Okay, so what are some of the things that you like about sex? You talk about it. Okay, so do you believe in practicing safe sex? Oh, these things, maybe it's a myth. Oh, no. So I learned that if you're not ready to have sex, you use a condom. I think heard about something about Lydia Puspil. You can Google it together. You can go on our social media platforms. You read about it. You can ask questions. You can call 1221, which is our, how do I call it?
Or contact center.
Our contact center, thank you, number. You can call and then we assist you. However, just make it fun, just make it interesting. Don't make it too serious. If there's a need for you to make it serious, you can make it serious, but then try and make it fun. It shouldn't even be something that you start talking about when you are in the relationship. Once you start talking and you see that you are vibing, it's something that you can throw in there. Yeah, you talk about it little by little, and then from there it's continues from there.
Okay, thank you. That's been very insightful. Yeah, so those of you who are shy to talk about it, you can, safety is sexy. So yes, talk about it.
Very sexy.
Now, Dr. Noel, there are people who would outright refuse to explore or even use contraception, whether it's the condom or the pills and things like that. Would you say that's a red flag?
Oh yeah, that's definitely a red flag especially for someone you don't really vibe with, or it's not your partner. I must say, some people are very promiscuous. Yes. Yes, so and imagine you just meet someone 1 or 2 days, you vibe, and you all decide to have sex, and he or she is saying she doesn't want to, or he or she is saying he doesn't want to use a condom. I mean, that should spark some doubt in your mind.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
suspicious,
it's very,
right?
very suspicious. Yes, because why are you refusing to use a condom? Meanwhile, I mean, we don't know our status and stuff. So that's definitely a red flag. Definitely a red
definitely.
flag.
Yeah, you heard the doctor. It's a red flag. Now, Auntie Lydia and Dr. Noel, who would you say the responsibility falls on to insist that sex is had safely?
Oh, I think it's both. Oh, yeah, it's definitely both.
Both.
Because I don't know why females have just left the tax on
Oh my
us.
God.
Wow.
They
Wow.
left the tax on us.
Wow.
Because you go and see someone, probably your partner. The person doesn't have a condom at her apartment.
Okay.
I mean, you have to go and buy the condoms. You have to carry the condoms everywhere you are going. I mean, it's sometimes not fair. Yes, it's sometimes not fair. And I think females should actually come to light, and also probably you should get some protection in your house.
Yeah.
Yes, in your purse or anywhere you are going, because
Yes.
you wouldn't know what might happen.
Yes, Doc. Yes. You have to move prepared.
Be prepared. Oh.
Auntie Lydia, what about you?
Yeah, well, he has basically said it, but I'll not put all the blame on females.
Sure, sure.
You know, sometimes the men, I don't know, maybe how we were raised as women, you don't talk about sex, it's the man that does the talking. So we actually leave that responsibility to you to do. And mostly it's the men that, I don't want to use the word bait, but they are the ones that actually try to have sex with. I don't know what
Come
right
on.
word to use, but
He's the one that's just running you. Right?
exactly. So you just relax and allow him to do everything. But what he has said is also a wake up call for all women.
Yes.
I mean, you should, once you are sexually active and you know you have a partner, and I mean, we have some women who have decided to abstain till they get married. Excellent. But then once you know that you want to start having sex, you are prepared and all that, you should have some form of protection with you. But then also some women are scared because of the perception. Why are you doing with a condom in your bag? Which means you want to have sex.
Right.
Maybe your parents will see condoms in your bag. When did they start having sex? So, and then like it has this sort of perception that you're promiscuous, you are doing this and doing that. But I feel like I said before, you know what you want. You know the goals you've set for yourself. You know your long-term plans, your short-term plans. And you know that you don't want any disruptions. And we are in a mental health month, or this year they've selected 1 month for mental health awareness and all that. All these things can affect your mental health, your education, your job. You might lose your job, you're in school, you don't learn anything and all that. So even though it's sort of like you're talking about sex and it's just fun for a short period, it can affect your life in the long run. So
Yes.
basically, like what he has said he has really spoken to me too. As women, we should have this at the back of our minds. You should have some form of protection with you if you know that you have a partner and both of you are talking about sex or you are sexually active. You should have some form of contraception with you.
Okay. Thank you, Auntie Lydia. Now to the last part of this conversation, which is testing for STIs. That too is a very daunting dark
it's
cloud
very
that
important.
looms over, sexual couples. But how often would you recommend that couples get tested, Dr. Noel?
Me, the way you change your hair, that's how much you should also.
Wow.
Every month. It's probably true. Yeah, but basically, I think it's 3 to 6 months. Yes, every 3 to 6 months you can. That's if you are sexually active. If it's not so much, I think a year is fine. Yeah, but if you're sexually active, 3 to 6 months is fine.
Can I ask Dr. Noel a question?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
And what if you are a commercial sex worker? How,
That one
how
every 3
frequent?
months.
Every 3
3
months.
Yes, every
Okay.
3
That's
months.
fine.
You should.
Okay, so ranging from 3 months to
6 months.
to a
6
year.
months to a year, depending on how active you are or how often you have sex. Okay, thanks, doctor. I have some work to do.
Yeah,
That's
no
why
work to do.
I'm thinking about. But Auntie Lydia, when we go to the testing facility, there's this particular testing facility that I go to get tested, and every time I show up and say I want the full works, they always look at me like, one day the lab tech asks me what work I do. I don't know. I don't know what that has got to do with anything. But there's also some stigma and some, they look at you very
Weird,
strange.
yes.
This one is how would you advise the healthcare professionals to do better? You know,
Yes.
because I'm taking a very responsible action. I'm doing the right
Yeah.
thing, but you are discouraging me.
This is in a way in relation to talking about the pharmacies and chemical shops
Yeah.
Yes.
selling
Yeah.
condoms and other contraception. I think by now they should know better.
They should.
Yes, and I know that sometimes, okay, I'm a little judgy myself. I don't say it, but then my facial expressions, you'd be like, hey, okay, you would easily know what I'm thinking, but let's try as much as possible to, stop these, judgments, like, obvious judgments and all that. So, I think you are doing really well going for periodic tests. Actually, the first time I tested for HIV was when the HIV self-test kits were
Yeah.
introduced. And then that was when, okay, that wasn't my first time though. That was the second time that I tested for HIV. The first time was actually when I was pregnant. So imagine if I had HIV and I didn't know.
Right.
And then I wasn't tested and then I transmitted to my baby. Okay, this is wrong. So for someone to boldly come to you to test, I think it should rather be applauded. You should rather say, oh, you've done really well. And then that should even help you. When the youth comes, you educate them that they should be coming for periodic checks, just find out if you are sexually. And then I think before we started, we talked about being infected with sexually transmitted diseases. It's not only through sex.
It's not only through sex.
I think if you could talk about, it's not only through sex that you can get that. So someone wouldn't be sexually active and still has to go for periodic tests, maybe some blood transfusions, something. So we should be applauded for coming for periodic checks. You don't have to look at me strange and be asking me, what work do you do? The work I do shouldn't have anything to do with the fact that I'm coming. So I think we should do better. So please, when someone comes, don't be judgmental. Just, oh, you've done really well, and then you take it from there. You can judge her in your head, which is wrong, but then you shouldn't make it obvious.
Okay. Thank you, Auntie Lydia. Thank you, Dr. Noel. Today's conversation has been very insightful, very empowering. I think that we've all learned something. We all take something home from this conversation. I know I would. Yes, so thank you again, Auntie Lydia. Thank you again, Dr. Noel. It's been really fun chatting with you. And if you have any questions, don't feel shy. Don't be shy. Feel free to reach out and reach out to Auntie Lydia actually on 1221 and have a chat with her. She'll answer all your questions. Once again, this has been Room 1221 Live. I have been your host, Ivy, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Room 1221. Room 1221.